So Bernie came out with some electability arguments against Michael Bloomberg, bringing up actual policy and actual actions by Michael Bloomberg and how that would hurt his electability chances because it would suppress voter turnout. And Bloomberg decided to reply with a attack ad centered around Bernie Bros. So I'm going to play Bernie Sanders' initial strike and then the rebuttal from Michael Bloomberg.
And let me also say a word about the current campaign and say to you that regardless of how much money a multi-billionaire candidate is willing to spend on his election, we will not create the energy and excitement we need to defeat Donald Trump if that candidate pursued, advocated for, and enacted racist policies like stop and frisk, which cause communities of color in his city to live in fear. We will not defeat Donald Trump with a candidate who in 2015 stated, and I quote, "I, for example, am not in favor, have never been in favor of raising the minimum wage." We will not defeat Donald Trump with a candidate who opposed modest proposals during Barack Obama's presidency to raise taxes on the wealthy while advocating for cuts to Medicare and Social Security. We will not defeat Donald Trump with a candidate who, instead of holding the crooks on Wall Street accountable, blamed the end of racist policies such as redlining for the financial crisis. The simple truth is that Mayor Bloomberg, with all his money, will not create the kind of excitement and energy we need to have the voter turnout we must have to defeat Donald Trump.
It is vitally important for those of us who hold different views to be able to engage in a civil discourse.
Holy shit, that music is so damn dramatic. So here's a short list of things Michael Bloomberg has done that I just wrote down really quick. 20 more sexual assault allegations and cases than Donald Trump. Wants to cut Social Security and Medicaid. Iraq War cheerleader, stop and frisk perpetrator, believes old people should be denied care because they had long enough lives. He literally said this: if there's an old person with a illness and they come in for treatment, they're too old, they should be turned away, and they should be left to die of natural causes. I mean, he doesn't mean rich people because rich people will get care. So if you're poor and old, you should simply die. That's what he's saying because it costs too much. Extremely racist policies, we know that. Turned the NYC police force into a small military against black and brown people. Endorsed George W. Bush in 2004 after an entire first term. Wants fingerprint scanners for poor people. Blamed 2008 crisis on the end of redlining. He said farmers are too stupid to get other jobs because all they do now is dig holes, put seed in, and water it. He's an authoritarian oligarch. All of his policies are authoritarian. Even the one policy that he is not a total conservative on, which is gun control, it's an authoritarian policy. Like, gun laws are authoritarian. Everything he does is authoritarian. And sexual assault allegations, racism, all of the things Democrats pretended to be so outraged against with Donald Trump apparently do not matter if it's our guy. So we're proving our enormous hypocrisy right now. Bernie Sanders brought out real issues that will make poor people not come out to vote. Those are the people we need to come out to vote. The people working multiple jobs. The people that have to take off work to come vote on a freaking Tuesday. You have to get those people energized enough to come vote for you. Vote for a party and a country that's doing nothing for them. They need to come out and vote for us. And you're going to bring up a couple tweets. And most of the tweets are literally jokes. They're literally memes. This first one right here, the no longer asking, this is literally the I am asking for your financial compensation or support, your financial support meme. Flipped around saying I am no longer asking because it's funny. Because he's asking for your financial support, now he's not asking anymore. It's just a funny meme. If you think this is going to stop us from beating Trump, then you have to just get out of politics. Sit on the sidelines and let the people who actually know what they're doing get stuff done. You obviously don't know how to do this. Not all the money in the world can't teach you how to actually reach people. And I meet actual Bernie supporters. I've been to events where people come to support him, to organize. And the people that are there to support him are there because of serious issues, serious faults and failures of the system. Not being able to afford healthcare, medical bills, not being able to have kids because of student loan debt, absolutely struggling, having pre-existing conditions, so they're destined for a life of complete just suffering and 100% struggle. No way they could break out of it because there's no opportunity and there's no society or societal structure there to alleviate them. These are people with real problems coming out and supporting a candidate because they believe in him. This is a battle of populism and democracy versus oligarchy and kleptocracy. So looking through their examples of Bernie bro torture, they start off with this meme that I talked about already. It's supposed to be playful. Very playful. It's funny. You're making a huge mistake, Fred. Vote Bernie or bad things will happen. A random supporter online represents Bernie Sanders. Going through even more. Hey, loved how you broke the system. We know where you live, where you work, where you eat, where your kids go to school, grandkids. We have everything on you. We are your neighbors, friends, family, etc. You made a bad choice. Prepare for hell. Calls won't stop. A random unhinged person online. And of course, they're going to use this as a blanket way to, represent all Bernie supporters. And this is a funny meme. Hashtag the time is now. The online Twitter force that the mainstream media outlets make fun of are one by one taking down multi-million-dollar operations that are propped up by corporations and establishment Democrats. Like each campaign that they go through and vet. And right now, Michael Bloomberg, the guy, I forget his name at the moment, it's slipping my head, but the guy who put out the clip of Bloomberg initially that sparked all of the controversy, he was speaking about how, I think it was Benjamin Dixon actually, the podcaster, he spoke about how Twitter effectively stopped a oligarch in his tracks, a guy who spent $400 million of his own advertising dollars at the very end of an election cycle in order to squeak in and not get vetted. Twitter was able to slow this guy down. Twitter might have saved our democracy. That's a bad quote, but libs who are flirting with Bloomberg now should be aware that they are going on lists. Next time they pretend to care about racism and sexual harassment or really anything other than money or power, we will remember what they were doing right now and we will remind everyone. Are going on lists, so it's up to your interpretation of what a list means. Of course we're going to remember who you are if you pretended to care about real issues affecting women and people of color. If you pretended to care about that before, but now you simply don't care because he is your billionaire sugar daddy oligarch. Michael Bloomberg is. So when Donald Trump does it, it's a big issue. But if it's our guy, which should make us more mad in my opinion, but if it's our guy, though, it's fine. Your stupid ass, we're coming for you for a year or whatever. Start looking for a new job. Your number is going viral and your actions are being watched everywhere. You are an a-hole. Do you know what I see from Trump supporters? Do you know what I see from Pete supporters? Do you know what I see from Warren, Biden, every type of supporter online? Some of them are going to be crazy. It's just how things are. And going through this is stupid too. Warren is a snake. Sorry people are calling Elizabeth Warren a snake. Sorry that she backstabbed Bernie Sanders. This is on Twitter. Remember, this is all on freaking Twitter. We made it to Joe Biden's Wall Street fundraiser and bought and brought a coffin to mourn the death of Biden's campaign. They wouldn't let us in, but we held a service in the lobby. That's just a good meme, honestly. That's just a good meme. I mean, the media fear-mongering about Bernie dying for the past 2 years, and Hillary Clinton in 2008 literally said Obama might get assassinated. They literally floated the idea of smearing Obama by saying he would get assassinated, so they should vote for her over him because he might get assassinated. But this is apparently a crazy thing. And yes, Pete has always been a demonic rat. It's so good. Look at you. Look at this face. How can you not be, it's adorable. Nah, she deserves less spotlight after she lied about Bernie live on stage twice. She dug her own grave, and she can lie there too. These are criticisms of things people actually did. This isn't even an attack. Like, this person saying she lied. Elizabeth Warren lied and was dishonest. They didn't give a smear. It's not untrue. It's their take on a freaking event that happened. Go F yourself, Yang Gang. I've gotten some really nasty messages from Yang Gang, and I made it very clear that Andrew Yang was my second choice throughout the entire process. When my YouTube channel started, I made a couple videos talking about UBI and possible benefits of it. I am in favor of some type of UBI system. I think it'll be a necessity in 10 to 15 years. Is that a good thing? I don't think so. But if we're going to have a policy to alleviate automation, I was for UBI, but I still got crazy messages from Yang Gang. Wherever you go, when there's a group of 5 million people, 1 million people, whatever, a couple of them are not going to be super, super nice and fluffy. We'll end Bloomberg. We are not a plutocracy. Like, what the hell is this? This is not a freaking attack. This is not something that you cannot say. This guy is literally threatening democracy. Like, if you look at any revolution in history, events like this, where the powerful use their wealth to keep the kleptocracy going, is when a revolution ends up happening and something bad happens. And this is about Bernie Bros ratioing Mike Bloomberg on Twitter, which is what's going to happen to this post anyway. Hey, Barney Frank, go F yourself, you corporate F. Your Frank Dodd bill was absolutely pathetic. It's been 10 years. Do you think too big to fail has been averted by your BS? You and the DNC? This guy, I don't know much about him, but what I can tell from this quote is he's probably very involved in very negative systemic issues in our society, that he caused working class suffering and then benefited from it, and now he's probably lecturing poor people that he put into their positions on how they should vote. First of all, you're dumb. Second of all, I wonder why you hate Bernie. Like, these are just childish to even bring up, dude. Bernie urged us to not bully anyone in social media. I guess that rules out crucifixion too. Tarring and feathering. Come on, you gotta give us something. This is sarcastic. Come on. They should just hang this in the window. It's the only truth Mike is telling voters. Mike Bloomberg 2020. This says F you. He's literally saying you have to vote for me because I'm rich and I'm the only person that could outspend Donald Trump. Are you being harassed by a Bernie bro or Bernie bot? Listen to the dramatic music. Bernie's angry bros. Is Bernie Sanders' angry army really what Democrats want?
It is vitally important for those of us who hold different views to be able to engage in a civil discourse.
And they include a video of him literally speaking against and disavowing people speaking like that. And the media will ask him every single interview, do you agree with like Bernie bros online? What do you think about your online supporters? Because it's a non-issue they created because they can't beat Bernie on the issues. People love Bernie Sanders. His strongest asset is his supporters, his donor base, his volunteer base. So they're attacking that. And it's disgusting. It's a final kick from the oligarchy to take down a true populist movement that can work for the people. And we got to just keep on fighting against it and trying to reclaim this whole democracy thing.